I'm Scott,
Hi, I'm Corey,
and we are
the Cloud Brothers. Well, welcome to the Cloud Brothers. We are doing some cool stuff today. So I'll let you explain what we're doing. I know what we're doing, I think, but
yeah. You can see the tabs I have here. I have a plan. I have a plan according to my tabs. And first thing is we're going to talk about EKS. And we've got a few videos of EKS in the past, but we have a reason which we can't share yet, that we're going to deep dive into more EKS stuff. And for those people that don't know what EKS is, I'm just going to do the first paragraph here, which is Amazon Elastic Kubernetes service is a managed service that you run Kubernetes on AWS without needing to install, operate, maintain your own Kubernetes cluster, Kubernetes control plane, and nodes. I was going to say cluster for some reason.
Yep.
Kubernetes open source system for automating the deployment, scaling, and management of containerized applications, EKS. I'll let you read the rest of it. If you're new to EKS, you're not going to know what the heck I'm talking about anyways. So either this is an intro video for you or just new.
And link, as always, will be in the description below. And on the way by, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new here.
About there somewhere.
Somewhere around over there. Probably over there.
So that's all that was. That's just a little brief overview of what we're going to be doing.
Yep.
There was way back in the day, and I wish we could find the video for it, because the very, very first video that we did like this was I introduced Corey to infrastructure as code with CDK, very much throwing him into the deep end. And even though I'm going to start with CDK, we're not actually we're not going to talk about CDK. We're going to talk about a couple of derivatives out of CDK, because since CDK, which is the cloud development kit, has come out for building CloudFormation templates in the very beginning, there's been a couple of CDK variants or offshoots. One of them is called CDK8S, which is just a play on the K8s name, which writes YAML configurations. And I was just going through it. Again, just brief overview. We're not going to go through what CDK8 is today. It's going to be probably for next week. But this makes configuration templates for you using the CDK8 programming language. So you write it in Python or TypeScript or whatever programming language you're in, and it turns it into YAML files for you.
So CDKs is CD Kubernetes.
Basically,
for
CD
Kubernetes.
That's correct. And then another offshoot of CDK is CDKTF. And originally, CDK's output was CloudFormation templates, and CDKTF is essentially the same thing, same concept as CDK. It outputs Terraform templates, which people, I'm just going to say Terraform is better than CloudFormation. Change my mind. Go ahead, change it. Go ahead, change my mind.
I think most people agree with that. The one time I went down to Rackspace for that for the meetup from Meetup app, I heard more than one person in the room go, "I don't like CloudFormation. I'll use anything else I can find." It seems to be pretty common. And Terraform, I know pretty well. It's it's very useful.
Okay, so
true infrastructure as code is what this is.
All right. Yeah. So I have installed CDK Terraform. If you click on here and click on the getting started thing, there are instructions on how to install it. It's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to use a Mac, so I use the brew install. This one I use Homebrew.
Oh, Homebrew. Okay.
So I just do brew install
Mhm.
CDKTF. But if you're running a different machine, you can use the node package manager. Obviously, there's multiple ways to do this here.
Mhm.
And if I do I don't
Oh,
need to
that's cool.
do this, but if I do the CDKTF help, if I've installed it properly, you'll get this. And just to save time, we're not going to go through that because that's a fairly easy process. Installing things, fairly easy process. I did go through this tutorial, but that's not what we're going to do today.
Okay.
Today, I actually went through some of the examples and found a AWS EKS CDKTF Python example, which I put into my own repo. And again, links will be in the description. And I happen to have that in this code already, or in Visual Studio Code.
Okay.
So if you do the standard git checkout or git clone, sorry, not git checkout, git clone, you'll get this package onto your computer. Maybe we can see if you can do it today or after off camera, just as an exercise. But for today, I'm gonna do it.
Yep, that's cool.
And so when you do the CDK init, it makes this structure of your code, and because we're using Python, the main.py is where all of this stuff is, and the standard Python things, some imports, constructs, import from the CDKTF module.
Oh, that's cool.
Providers, AWS provider, and then caller identity, and then some imports for VPC and EKS. And really exciting names like MyStack. And it's going to be a Terraform stack. This is standard CDK stuff. AWS provider, we're going to put it into US West 2. The my VPC, just standard my VPC, pretty just generic, not really a lot of thought put into this. It's just from an example.
Yeah.
And then US West 2, US West, and then the availability zones, the private subnet, public subnet, and I want a NAT gateway in here.
Yeah.
And then for the EKS cluster, it's just the name, my EKS. The cluster name is going to be my EKS. The subnets, it's going to get the subnets from the previous code block. VPC ID again. Actually, it's going to get it from the output. Actually, it's a Terraform output thing. I'm pretty sure you know about that.
Yeah.
And I think the versions are up to 1.25 or 1.26, and 1.22 is the oldest version, and it's the one I picked because the code example actually had a older version and it broke. So and then another. So in the README, which is included in there, there's some things in here that you can do. I could probably just type them, but let's copy paste them because that way I don't make any mistakes.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's the thing that shows me the different stuff, tells me that CDKTF is indeed installed. Maybe we'll do a little 2-minute version on how to install it, a little standalone video on it later.
Yep.
I've already installed pipenv, so I'm not going to do this. Again, this is specific to a Mac thing. There's different ways to do this on Ubuntu. No idea how to do it on a Windows machine.
Okay.
If you ask for help in doing this on a Windows machine, you're going to get a smart aleck answer to don't do it on Windows. So, pipenv install. Actually, I'm going to do the pipenv install because pipenv install does all of the installs all the dependencies
Yep.
in a virtual environment.
Okay.
So that's done, and it doesn't have it in here. I'm going to have to update the. I'm going to have to update the README with this information. But if you do pipenv shell, that gets you into an environment. Do you see how it's got this? Oh.
Hold on. Sorry, Scott. I just realized I have to move us because we're working in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sorry, the examples of the code is right behind you and me. Okay, it's good now though.
Okay. Well, the nice thing about having in GitHub is they can look at the code
you can look
behind our big
apologize to that to our
behind our big heads.
Yeah.
So I did do pipenv shell, and now you can see I'm in brackets here.
Yep.
The brackets means that I'm in the virtual environment for pipenv, which it's just a way to do things without screwing up your existing environment.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then CDKTF get, I believe, gets all of the things that you need defined in the packages JSON file here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it made an imports directory, which is what I'm expecting. And then CDK synth. So synth is kind of like a dry run. Before you do deploy. CDK uses the concept of synthesizing.
So that's like your Terraform plan, but it's called synth.
Yeah, exactly. What's going on there? Why are we getting there here? Is this just because mismatched versions? CDKTF. Oh, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think that's what the problem is. So that's another piece that I need to put in the README, which is a good thing. The good thing about recording these things.
Yes, sir.
It's taking a little longer. So yeah, what I was saying is it uses the concept of synthesizing, and what that does is takes your programming language. Yeah, there we go. So it made, so I don't know if you noticed or not, but it made this folder. This folder wasn't here 2 seconds ago.
Which folder is that?
Back,
oh, stats?
the CDK.
Oh, the CDKTF .out. Okay,
.out.
.out.
Yeah. Here, actually,
okay.
I'm just going to show you. We got time to do this thing.
Sure, do it again.
Yeah. So move that to the trash. Go to the trash, please. And then see the folder. Let's just look up here.
Yeah, there's no folder. There's no folder in the Explorer right above me.
Yeah.
And then you do the synth.
After a few seconds.
Synthesizing.
Yeah. It's doing, who's that? Herbie Hancock. It's doing Herbie Hancock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And now CDK out. So, and stacks, and it does make stacks, but it makes Terraform stacks, not CloudFormation stacks. So this is Terraform code.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go through and look at the output of the code, you can do that.
Yep, sure.
And if you do CDKTF and then deploy, if everything goes as I expect, it should do the same thing as the last one, but it'll start giving us more updates and asking me to approve. And yes, it's exactly the same as Terraform plan.
But just with some different terminologies,
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, and here we go. It's doing some things.
Yeah, it looks familiar.
Gathering all this information because
oh yeah, Terraform has been successfully initialized. Sure.
Modifying Terraform stuff.
Stack. Retrieve, fetching. Oh, success! Terraform has updated the log file.
Yeah, it's still deploying,
Okay.
and then it gets to this thing where I have these three
Fire that
choices.
up.
Um,
So
I'm not 100% sure. I think I'd prefer to actually type out approve or type out yes rather than just hitting enter. But you can enter
so do you just use
to
a
approve.
cursor key up and down to
Yeah,
do that? Okay.
correct. So just up and down to go through the choices. And
Hmm.
I could see a problem with mindlessly hitting enter here, but I'm going to mindlessly hit enter here.
Yep.
And now this is creating the VPC and the EKS cluster and adding the NAT gateway to my account. And while it's doing that, I can go over here, and it's probably not doing this yet. But if I go to, oh no, it is doing that.
It's creating a
My key
Kubernetes
is
cluster.
creating already.
Nice.
And so you might as well pause because this takes about 10 minutes. So
Okay.
through the magic of television, we'll pause.
Be right
finish.
back.
And we're back. And our cake is fully baked.
Our bake is caked.
On our CDKTF. So a whole bunch of output that you saw before we started, and then auto apply complete, did all the Terraform stuff, and then there's your cluster name for your output, your ARN for, I'm not sure what that is, created something, and then the cluster endpoint for
amplify. Okay.
in your output and your output from the stacks, which I believe was these two things. So cluster endpoint, create user ARN, which let's say that's what this is. And if we go back to the cluster,
it's active now.
Clusters,
yeah, obviously.
And region, it's now active. If I go into this cluster, I have now and this is the same information that's in the output folder or output of the command line from last time that we were just looking at. And I don't know what it has for resources. So we don't have any pods in here, but that's going to be the next video. Today's video was just creating a cluster with Terraform TF.
CDKTF.
Thinking about doing CDKTF. Thank you.
Yep.
I was thinking about doing it with TypeScript, but the example that I found was Python, and I know how to troubleshoot Python and get this to work. So,
fair enough.
That's it. If you want to try this yourself, there's no reason you can't. Just do the git clone, and if you do have any trouble, we'll absolutely try to help. I might not be able to help, but we'll absolutely try to help.
Yeah, and
that's for that.
And that's that for that. Thanks for tuning in. This was just a really quick overview of everything Scott was talking about. And we can guarantee there will be some more CDK CF and CDK8s in the very near future for very good reasons. And I guess we'll catch you next time. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the crowd.